Here we are, only 5 or 6 days away from shattered space, depending where you are in the world. We got some huge news that we just got a drop from Bethesda in what might be a forgotten aspect to the lead up and release of Starfield. And I'm talking about the rather remarkable animated series that some of you might not be familiar with, many of you probably are, but we just got a fresh and glimpse into the deep, dark depths of one of the major events that is the centerpiece for Shattered Space. This is somewhat of our first glimpse into this event. However, before we look into this rather emotional piece of animated goodness, I've got some really interesting things to show you. We're gonna have to start off with probably one of the funniest clips I've ever seen of Starfield. This one comes from a user on Reddit called Bosstrich, and this legend was mucking around with some console commands that it was using on Sarah, and he titles this hilarious clip Sarah Morph. Let's take a quick look.
You've got nothing.
Okay, we gotta watch that again. I mean, this is just the funniest freaking video I've ever seen of Starfield. It's like turned Sarah into like a T-Rex zombie mutilated spirit being, which would be freaky as hell. Imagine finding this in the new DLC. It'd be scarier than any Varrook. I mean, this part here we have to slow down. It reminds me of some of those scenes from that movie called The Fourth Kind, where you have that super freaky scene of them being possessed. Anyway, I thought that was a funny clip. Let's dive into some really interesting facts about where Varrook was originally going to sit within Starfield. Some of the files for Starfield were datamined, and what's really interesting about this is that what they discovered was originally the House Varrook's homeworld, Varrook Kai, was originally planned to be located in the Serpentis system, which if you're wondering where it is, from Alpha Centauri, we can go all the way over to here where we find Serpentis. Now, Serpentis has been always known for its amazing spawns of enemy ships, whether it be Varrook or other factions. It's always been one of those systems that has unusually high amount of enemy spawns, whether you're on the ground or in space. Now, where originally, according to the Datamined, Serpentis IV, this was originally going to be Varrook Kai, the homeworld for the Varrook faction. And furthermore, there was actually going to be a capital city here too, which was Dazra, which we find now all is compiled into the new expansion DLC Shattered Space. They even had to the point of placeholder map markers for these locations. So it's a bit fascinating, and one must speculate that the whole Varrook faction and this DLC might have been almost an afterthought, or they soon realized that they could spin these guys out to be a much more engaging experience. But it is kind of interesting that originally it was going to be Serpentis IV being the homeworld for Varrook. So this is what leads me to speculate that the new system called Kabik could be very close to Serpentis. It's either that, or I speculate it's going to be all the way on to the right here, or all the way on the other side to our left. The fact that they keep showing the frontier as the main ship landing in all the different trailers does lead me to wonder if it is going to be close around Alpha Centauri, as if you do have to make a jump over to this side, you're going to have to do like 15 different jumps just to get to this new system. In any case, I thought that was really interesting. It does kind of make you wonder what a big difference that would have made within Starfield. However, let's move on to the amazing animated Shattered Space video, which, just so you know, this Starfield cartoon kind of continues on with the whole series of the Starfield, the Settled Systems animated anthology. So let's check out this new edition titled All Must Serve. Whoa, well that's pretty damn intense. Losing your mother right in front of your eyes to the vortex. So this cartoon is basically giving us a glimpse at the very moment the vortex incident occurred in Dazra, the capital city of Varunkai, which completely swallowed the sacred citadel, which is the seat of power for House Varun's leadership. Now I suspect the real cause of this event occurred underground, very similar to what happened on Earth, but it's certainly a heartfelt story and giving us some really interesting glimpses into the very moment of the vortex. And just at the end, when the mother turns into that spirit element thing and disappears, gives me a lot of hope that we will be able to solve this as a mission and bring some of these people back from the other side of this vortex and hopefully return the mother to the sun. But it's fun to throw out theories. Let me know what you think this is all telling us. Certainly makes this a very interesting concept for a story, particularly whatever is on the other side, and most importantly, what is the Great Serpent. But a really cool clip. Let me know what you got out of it, what your thoughts are, where do you think this story goes, and I'm sure there is lots I've missed. Now, what some of you might have missed is another animation series where they tell the story of the Varun with some cool animations, some narration, and these weren't released on YouTube, but only on social media, so there's a good chance you might have missed it. So what I've done, I've combined all those clips together, but just to give you a quick summary, this is a bit of a story or background to Kasik Moha, a character I don't think we know yet, and I believe all these are going to be actual slates that you pick up in the game. A fervent follower of the Great Serpent within House Varun. To me, he seems like a zealot as he's deeply committed to the original Varun faith, and he has embarked on a personal journey to reconnect with the Great Serpent and continue the legacy of Jinan Varun. Now, Moha takes this rather dire situation, turns it into a pilgrim in hope to return to Varun Kai, and also trying to follow in the footsteps of Jian Varun. And he also becomes aware of Anasco's experiments, and he's suspicious of Anasco's true intent. In any case, this is kind of an interesting story. I'll leave this with you. Let me know what you think about this last bit.
Great Serpent, bless this wretch, Kesik Mohar, who seeks only to walk in your light, to serve you. The others are dead, dust at the tainted hands of unbelievers. For 6 weeks I have sailed the stars in penance, weighing my options. I cannot prepare the way alone. As much as it pains me, I must return to Varun Kai. And so, I will make this journey a pilgrimage, retracing the footsteps of Jinan to rekindle the flame, your flame, which burns within me always. From foul colony space, I leap into the beyond, like Jinan in the mighty Archimedes when he first touched your grace. Hear me, Great Serpent, that I may know your eternal embrace. I have jumped now for many days. I sense your touch in the blur, like a great weight lifted from my chest. With each jump, I feel closer to you. Closer to home. Though I return in the shame of temporary defeat, I do long to walk again on the streets of Dazra. To taste warm koza on my lips. To be once more among the promised. I can feel Jinan beside me, guiding me. As you, Great Serpent, guided him to break ground and make your great city so. I've not prayed in the scaled citadel for 17 years. I hope my people have kept her well. At last I have reached the volley system. These stars bore witness to the revelation of the great morning in accursed space, as Jinan proclaimed your magnificence. I would have loved to have been at the Prophet's side on that day, to see his cunning unfold as he feigned diplomacy with one hand and raised an army with the other, right under the noses of the vile heretics who would be made dust. What glory it must have been to look upon the Varun fleet at its strength. I have heard rumors of promised nearby, honored heroes of the Great Crusade, who served under Jinan himself. With your blessing, Great Serpent, I will find them, seek their wisdom, and persuade them to fight once more in your name. Fools! Blasphemers! Cowards! I'd hoped to find heroes of the Great Crusade, but all I found were weak and broken old men. And worse yet, Great Serpent, they shamed you, and the purity spread in your name throughout the settled systems. I dreamt of meeting warriors like these since I was a child, the purest of the promised, whose blades sang in the blood of your greatest rhapsody. I told them of my wish to continue your fight, that your will to purge the universe of unbelievers has not waned. And they called me a zealot. They spoke of the horrors of war, claimed that they'd committed atrocities, and were ashamed of what they'd done as heralds of your judgment. Bah! Fear not, Great Serpent, for I will not succumb to this trial of faith. Your fire burns brighter in me now more than ever. I grow weary. It has been 15 days since I left the false promised warriors, and still their weakness sickens me. It is the work of Genon's sniveling, gutless worm of a son, Jarek, who prostrated himself at the feet of our enemies the moment his father left our world to join your side. Jarek, who abandoned Genon's dream of conquest, left our people to rot in isolation where his blasphemous ideas could fester. I pray his son, Anasco, finds his way back to your path, or House Varun will fall. I am low on supplies, and fear I am not well. I hear voices in the void, whispering sinful things. Please, Great Serpent, I beg you, take me home. Oh, Great Serpent, praise your wisdom and benevolence. I have found the promised, true promised. I have been alone for so long, but they found me and welcomed me aboard their ship. They fed me and shared with me news of home. News that, together, we plan to confirm in person on Varun Kai. Apparently, Anasco has sequestered himself in the Scaled Citadel, conducting some kind of clandestine experiments. Experiments of a religious nature that draw great power from the city. I know not of his true intent, but no son of Jarek can be trusted to wield such technology alone. If our suspicions are confirmed, we will seize control by force, if we must. The shrouding is coming. True believers must take charge to prepare the way. This technology, whatever it is, may it guide the promised back to the radiance of your word and renew our blades with devastating purpose. The galaxy will tremble before House Varun once more.